Welcome to another edition of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube. I am Charles Taylor, and I have Patrick Brackett with me for this episode. Say what's up, Patrick.
Pulling out the Nick Jonas now, huh? I'm
Nick
gonna jump
Jonas,
around.
Justin Bieber, whatever.
Just it don't matter. Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, got to spice it up a little bit, add a little flavor to it. Well, well, Patrick, we have a lot to discuss on this episode since we had been on here last week. Of course, college football is on the plate, the NFL is on the plate, and we haven't had the chance to talk about anything from the NBA since the season started back in the last week of October. So we'll cover a little bit of that as well. So let's start with college football, and we had the rankings come out. You have Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson. Those are your top four. As you saw from last weekend, it's complete chaos. Clemson went down to Pittsburgh, Michigan went down to Iowa, and Washington, who was sitting at number 4 last week, went down to USC. So nobody knows what's going to happen. The only sure thing, it appears, is that it's Alabama and everybody else. Oh, and by the way, as we're coming on to you, Louisville, the team that everybody thought might have gotten screwed in the deal, waiting for them to get hopped up, they just got smashed by Houston 36-10. So, Patrick, with all that said, what are your takeaways from what you have seen with the polls? And do you look forward to more chaos coming this weekend?
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, there's so much more chaos that's going to come. I mean, this weekend and next weekend, man, that's going to be the tall tales right there, dude. Michigan plays Ohio State, not this weekend, but the next weekend. That's going to pretty much finalize what's going to happen in the Big Ten and possibly knock one of those two teams out of being in competition for the playoff. So, like you said, man, right now it's Alabama and NCAA at this point. At this point, I don't even see anybody beating Alabama. I mean, geez, they could probably beat half the teams in the NFL right now.
It does,
including the two that's playing tonight. Nobody wants to win in the fourth quarter. And don't get me wrong, that NFC South, that makes me feel happy because Atlanta's winning in that division. But there it is.
I know, yeah. It's my dad. I'm gonna have to call him back. But
yeah, but at the phone, tell him, hey man, I'm on the webcast. I'm gonna call you back right in a minute. Are you gonna turn on? Come on. All right.
No, man, it is not ringing.
As it stands, man, I don't see anybody beating Alabama, and the two teams that are playing tonight with the Saints and the Panthers, neither one of those teams want to win in the fourth quarter at this point. I think Alabama can take both of them at the same time. Two hands tied behind
at the same time.
At the same time. It don't matter. Pick the best out of both teams, put them on the field. Alabama still beat them right
now. Well, as I said, man, it does look like it is them in the field, Alabama against the field, and everybody else. I don't know who would be the bigger threat. I mean, I guess if I had to choose, Ohio State, I guess, looking at them right now, would be the biggest threat, and that's because of the Urban Meyer effect there, him being in the SEC for all those years with Florida and having, SEC caliber talent there in Ohio State. Now, they haven't been the most consistent team as we have seen before, but then again, who has? So, yeah, I mean, besides Alabama. Oh, and I guess Western Michigan, because they're undefeated too. I think they're the only other FBS school that is undefeated right now. So crazy. It's crazy.
Everybody else, but 2+ losses.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, Clemson's been looking shaky all year. Michigan, to me, doesn't score enough. And then Washington is overrated. I know a lot of people gave Washington a lot of credit because they were running the table in the Pac-12, but Stanford's not what they were. Oregon's definitely not what they've been. So it's just a mess. And they just kind of racked up victories against garbage teams. Their non-conference schedule, man. Rutgers, Idaho, and Portland State. Come on, man. Play somebody out of conference. Somebody. Somebody. That's not gonna happen. That sounds like Baylor.
I know, right? Like everybody in the Sun Belt Conference. Hey,
I mean, something.
Call down there to one of those Southern teams and get the high schoolers up here to play. We'll take a win off of them. Come on, dude.
So, I mean, a lot of these teams, like always, though, Patrick, it will play itself out. There's a lot of football left to be played. And I think by the time December 4th rolls around, where the final college football playoff rankings come in, and I don't think it'll really be that big of a deal. I mean, I guess there could be some chaos depending on where they want to put which team, depending on what happens, but it'll all work itself out. So, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, let me take a step back, and I want to point out a couple of key games last week with Georgia taking down Auburn. What? That was
Auburn.
Well, I mean, Auburn was on a 6-game win streak, man. They were winning. They were beating some pretty tough teams. Honestly, what I saw is I saw a Georgia team that's starting to a Georgia defense that's starting to buy in what Kirby Smart has to offer. That's what I saw.
You would kick back to try to mention Georgia, of course, but I understand. I get it.
Well, that's a big win for Georgia and a huge kick in the mouth to Auburn, because that pretty much solidified Alabama winning the West.
It did.
So, I mean, yes, I love my Georgia. I have to point that game out, but there is a key reason why I did. Okay, give me a little bit of credit, Charles. Jeez.
All right, I give you a little bit. I'm sorry.
I mean, I just want a smidge. I mean, that's right there. But it looked like Georgia is starting to buy in what Kirby Smart's bringing to that offense and that defense. And you know, if this is the type of caliber team that we're looking at this year, I love to see what Georgia's going to bring next year. And you know, we always say give a coach 3 years. 2 years minimal, give him 3 years, and he's going to have his players in there. He's going to have his offense being ran. He's going to have his defense being ran. And you're going to get all of these new people coming in. What Kirby Smart's doing in Georgia, if this is the start of what we're looking at, I'm excited as a Georgia Bulldog fan. Next game I wanted to mention was the Duke North Carolina game. That was a good game. Duke came in, brought North Carolina in, and that was a good game. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't get to watch a lot of it. So those are the 2 games that I wanted to point out real quick. I mean, and if you want to look at Alabama smashing Mississippi State, dang, dog. I mean, just absolutely, you might as well rape them.
It was pretty bad there. Pretty bad. What was it, 51-3? Alabama's just kind of just taking care of their business, and they're leaving no question about it. It's far and away looking like the best team in the nation, man, unless proven otherwise. And we'll see. You never know what could happen from week to week. But yeah, like you said earlier, it doesn't look good for Alabama, or it doesn't look good for the rest of the people having to play Alabama.
Yeah, and then just point out this one game, and you know, this disappoints me a little bit because I expected Michigan to pretty much run the table, but Iowa beating Michigan in that final field goal. That was intense. So anyway, I'm still pretty set with my pick, Michigan beating Ohio State in a couple of weeks, so I'm good with that. My pick for this week, I got Florida and LSU. This was probably more interesting to me than it probably should be, mostly because this game should have already been played. But this game, when this game was supposed to be played, I was going to have Florida win this because of the offense that Florida was bringing. Well, Florida doesn't have that offense anymore, and this makes for a very interesting turn of events for both of these teams because LSU is starting to fly high with their new coach, interim coach, and Florida lost their offense. Interesting. Needless to say.
Well, yeah, Florida, yeah, no offense now. I think they've been struggling to score. LSU, since he was talking about games from last week, they destroyed Arkansas last week, and
Yeah,
remember a certain somebody talking about Arkansas being a good team and stuff, and they are. Arkansas is they're
but they
they
gotta
have
win.
talent.
They gotta win those games, man. Like you were saying, I'll go ahead and point it out. That was me. That was me. He's gonna be talking about everybody out there. They're a good team. They really are, and it frustrates me that people overlook them. But then it's games like that, and I'm like, well, I see why. I mean, you got to beat that team. You're better than LSU.
They're the yeah buts. I call them the yeah buts because it's Arkansas has all this talent. Yeah, but when it comes down to it, they cannot win those games. Those statement games where they can put themselves in that upper echelon with the Alabama and in this case the LSU. LSU has a lot of talent, man. Talent has never been an issue with LSU. As a matter of fact, you can make an argument LSU has as much talent as anybody in the country on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Their problem has been coaching. The coaching has been bad. They can't, and really is on the offensive end. Their defense has always been pretty solid, but if they can get some offense going, like in this game, they put up 38 points. LSU is tough to deal with, but then they have those performances, and you don't know if they're consistent enough to keep those going. So that's the thing with LSU. Arkansas, same thing, man. They have to find a way to win those games and put those games together. If they're going to be this team that's going to be known as somebody who is a threat instead of this team who they can be a threat, but we don't know until they actually get there. And that's the difference. And I think that's why people overlook Arkansas as a potential threat. They know they have talent. They've proven they can push the envelope a little bit, but knock that door down hasn't been done yet.
No, I would like to see him do it, man. I mean, because I've been talking about how long I've been talking about past 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. They have the talent, but 1 year you can't get the coach to stop worrying about where Ohio State is, and then they ended up losing 3 games. You got to worry about your own team. Then the next year it's like, well, they start taking care of business within themselves, but then everybody else starts taking care of their own business, and now you see them lose the games that they should be winning. I mean, if you're the only team that's hung more than 20 points on an Alabama team. It actually took Alabama to score 49 points to beat them. Then they come back and they can only score 10 points on LSU. I mean, LSU has a good defense. LSU held Alabama to 10 points. But the problem is Alabama held them to 0. That means at some point Arkansas's offense could have been better. And if you're putting 30 on Alabama, then you should be able to put 20 on LSU at least. They can't even score on them. But I come back and I'll have to say this with LSU. Kudos to LSU for the past 2 weeks, man. They put together great defensive plans and they put together great offensive plans. They ran into a tougher team in Alabama. Like I said, I don't think anybody can beat Alabama right now. And then they put together a fantastic offense and defensive plan against Arkansas, and they beat them 28-38, whatever it was, to 10. So I give LSU a lot of credit in that interim head coach. He's looking like he might be getting a job at LSU. So good job to LSU for the game plan.
Was there any other games that is catching your eye? All right, so
Yeah,
Patrick.
there's one. The one that's catching my eye. Before you start, I got one that's catching my eye. Oklahoma State and TCU. This one has been catching my eye. This one caught my eye about 2 weeks ago. Since they are playing in TCU, I'm just putting Oklahoma State on upset alert. I don't think Oklahoma State can lose this game. They don't need to lose this game. They shouldn't lose this game. But I am putting them on upset alert.
And I read when talking about this weekend's games, I prefaced that by saying the schedule does not look that impressive. But then again, last week's schedule didn't look impressive. And then we just had everybody losing.
Up at the
What
top.
was it? Five of the last, yeah, five of the top 10 teams going into that week lost. Yeah, Clemson, Michigan, Washington, Texas A&M, and Auburn all going down last week. Well, as them being in the top 10. So I don't know. It doesn't look that good. Yeah, the Oklahoma State TCU game, that is intriguing. I think the Oklahoma West Virginia game is intriguing.
Yeah.
I think West Virginia can pull that out.
I think
Of
I got
course.
them pulling it out. I told you at the beginning of this, before we started this webcast, I was like, that's an interesting game. I think I'm going to go with West Virginia. I think I'm going to have West Virginia winning that 24-21.
I got a higher score in bed. I got 41-38. It's what I got. I got to shoot out, man, because it's the Big 12.
Big
Nobody's
West.
playing defense in
Yeah, there ain't no defense.
Nobody's playing. So, nobody. Well, anything else before we move on to the NFL?
Not really. I mean, Stanford and Cal. I mean, it is
It's rivalry.
The rivalry. I think it makes for a good. I think it makes for a good game. At this point with both of those records, I really don't care. I just think it's gonna make for a good game. And then if all y'all want to watch a complete and utter blowout, watch Alabama versus Chattanooga. You probably see the 20 strength quarter, the 20 strength, however you would say that. Quarterback coming in from the fans. Probably see a big old fat blob out there throwing touchdown passes on Chattanooga. So you probably see the second string quarterback, third string quarterback coming in probably somewhere second quarter.
Yeah, it could be 107 to 7. So
somebody should be laying a century out on them boys. Go ahead, go ahead and throw Benjamin Franklin out there, dog. It should happen tonight, Saturday.
If there's ever a need for a mercy rule, that would probably be it. So, well, Patrick, let's move on to the NFL. And let's see. So last week, you had the Dallas Cowboys beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 35-30. You had Seattle go into New England and win that game 31-24. Those were two of the better games, not only of this past week, but of the year, actually. Just kind of the back and forth that was going there. I think there was 6 or 7 lead changes in each of those games. So
there was so many lead changes in that Dallas game, man. It's like every time there was like 3 lead changes in the last 3 minutes of the game. It was insane.
Yeah. And then let's see what else happened. Okay, Minnesota continues to hit the skids. They've lost 4 in a row. And Green Bay.
What the hell, dude?
What has happened to Green Bay?
Aaron Rodgers is not running a fluid offense right now.
That whole team's a train wreck right now, though, Patrick. They gave 47 points to the Titans last week.
I know, and it's Marcus Mariota. This dude is on fire this year, man. I mean, he's on absolute fire.
You talk about crazy in college. The NFL's crazy too. Because you have Dallas, who's at 8-1. Go figure. They have the best record in the league now.
Yeah, I know, right? Dallas. I mean, I know this part makes Stan really happy right now. It also makes Skip Bayless really happy.
Yeah, that man. Yeah, I remember Shannon Sharp saying you talk about Dallas like they're one of your kids, but but he represents Dallas through and through. So
See,
I mean,
man.
I guess if anybody talks a mess, it is him. So I look Dallas. About the Cowboys. So Tony Romo just throw some things a little bit different there besides what they're doing on the field, which is impressive. We've seen, of course, having Dak Prescott out there, rookie quarterback Ezekiel Elliott, over 1,000 yards already rushing. I mean, you have Tony Romo come out here. He hosts his press conference, and basically he's conceding, "Hey, look, you know what? I don't want to be a distraction. This is Dak's team." The crazy thing about this, Patrick, is Tony Romo came out and did something that you would expect your owner, Jerry Jones, and your head coach, Jason Garrett, to do. He came out and pretty much calmed the waters down.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what he did, because this could have been a complete and utter public relations disaster. And as we know with the Dallas Cowboys, that's not a strength of theirs. Public relations is not a strength of the Dallas Cowboys. It is always something crazy going on with that franchise. But with Tony Romo coming out here and saying what he said, it it settles everybody down. There's no really conflict, which personally I don't think there really should have been one anyway, because I feel like Dak Prescott should have been keeping the job anyway. But by Tony Romo coming out there and saying that, it kind of brings everybody the focus, and now they can just kind of move on and play football. You know, Tony Romo's going to be the backup, and I guess he'll be ready if needed. But I think that was important for him to come out there and say that, because it settles everything down. And again, that's something your owner and your head coach could have done a long time ago, but they're not going to do that. They just don't know how. I don't know why. They just don't know how. It just seems like a mess there. But
Yeah. Well, uh, first of all, first of all, I have to give Tony Romo a lot of props, man, to come out and say that. That is one expensive backup quarterback at this point. But a lot of respect, man. It clearly shows it's about the team for him and not just himself. So a lot of respect for that. I've always I'm not really a huge Tony Romo supporter, but no, there's a lot of respect for that. I like that. So kudos to him for saying that. Um, but I will say this: now that Tony Romo is the backup quarterback, now that he is somewhat, I'm going to say somewhat healthy, because we don't know where he stands right now. Until I see him throw a couple of footballs, I don't know. I will say this though: I think Prescott is roughly one bad quarter away from Tony Romo taking that position back. Um, in a lot of ways, I kind of know that Tony Romo feels that way anyway. So he's conceding. He's conceding because he's doing what he feels is right. But I also know that if Dak now gets in trouble, they're going to be really quick to pull that chain. And I think, and don't get me wrong, I don't feel they should. Dak has earned his spot right now. Let him do his thing. He's going to get in trouble. Yes, we understand he's quarterback, but I feel I can see how Dallas would say, okay, well, he messes up, I'm throwing Tony Romo back in there. End of story. So I think Dak need. I think I hope the coaches will realize that they don't need to do that. But that's the way I kind of feel, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. But until proven otherwise, Tony Romo He was the starter for years, and I honestly feel Dak is probably one bad quarter away from getting pulled.
Patrick, you don't think he's earned more than a quarter of a leash?
Oh no, Charles, I completely understand. I think he should finish the season. I think he's earned everything he's gotten. He should keep. I'm saying that I can see how that Dallas management would do that. Me personally, I think he should stay in there. Bad quarter, good quarter, whatever. I mean, he could lose a game. He could lose 2 games at this point. At this point, I don't care. He needs to stay in. I'm just saying I can see how Dallas management, head coach, Jerry Jones, whoever, I can see that he would be 1 quarter away from being pulled to put Tony Romo back in there. That's all I'm saying. I can just see that could be an issue.
All right. I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, I do, but a quarter, I don't know. That seems even for Dallas management, it just
Well, dude,
seems that seems
look at what
way.
Chicago did. All I'm saying is I'm looking at panic mode. You're 8-1. I'd hate to see them go into panic mode and they start pulling people out. They'd be pulling the water boy out. You didn't put enough water in that cup. You're out. It'd be you know what I'm saying? Panic mode at some point they're gonna set in. I don't think they should, but I can see how Dallas would do that. Panic mode hits. People do crazy things, man. You saw it. You saw it in the World Series. That's all I'm saying.
That is okay. All right,
People are
Patrick.
people, man. Different sport, but people are people, man. Panic modes make you do crazy things. That's all I'm saying.
Well, is there? Let's. That's so funny. Let's move on. You're right, but it's funny. But I think with Dallas though that is an interesting dynamic and it is an interesting point you bring up. I just think at this point, if you're gosh, their management, because you just never know with the management. Well, Jerry Jones, because he runs
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. That's
But
what I'm trying to say right there. You just said it. I mean, you don't know what they're thinking. And even if Tony Romo says this is his team, Dak, run with it, do your thing, get us a Super Bowl, cool. But you don't know what Jerry Jones is. That man is smoking on some stuff, and you never know where he. Hell, Jerry Jones don't even know where he's at 90% of the time. He makes calls. He makes calls because the wind blows in a certain way, and he's like, oh, I don't like that. I don't know. No, pull Tony Romo. He's like, Jerry, we're not even playing. It's Friday. Pulling. Wind blew my hair a certain way. Pulling. I've been smoking too much stuff.
well, speaking of quarterback issues, let's go to Los Angeles and let's talk about the Rams. You know, we'll come back to Dallas at some point. We
Okay.
always do. But but let's talk about the mess with the Rams. So finally, Jared Goff, who was the #1 overall pick, who the Rams backed up the truck to trade up and get him. It went to gave, I don't know, 80 picks to the Tennessee Titans to move up to #1 and take him. He's finally going to get a start against the Miami Dolphins this coming Sunday. So, look, all right, Patrick, personally, I don't think Jared Goff is that good. I didn't think he was that good in California, and I didn't think he was a guy who was worthy of the #1 pick. I thought Carson Wentz was better. I thought Dak Prescott was better. I mean, and the reason why I say Dak Prescott is because to me, if you're playing in Mississippi State and you're playing against SEC competition, and I know everybody, you have your haters of the SEC. I get it. But where's there better defensive talent in college football than the SEC? If Dak Prescott is playing good football against SEC talent, that normally, not all the time, but that normally translates into success in the pros. Normally. You have
No,
your cases where they don't, but normally if you're playing good in the SEC, you can be successful at the pros. But back to Jared Goff, this man, I mean, he's playing in the Pac-12. For the Pac-12, I don't care what anybody says. You can give me some hate mail. You can write some terrible comments about me. But the Pac-12 doesn't play any defense. There, I said it. And so if he's putting
Here,
up these numbers, Pac-12.
I'll go a step further. They don't play any offense either. They don't play special teams. Hell, their coach don't even coach. Send me some hate mail. I don't care.
So the Pac-12, I mean, Jared Goff to me is just another. Jared Goff to me is another one of those overrated quarterbacks. But if you think he is worthy of a number one pick, there is absolutely no reason for him to be sitting this long. You do not draft a person that high to sit. That doesn't happen. So for the Rams to say, "Oh, well, we want to develop him," under who? Case Keenum? Are you kidding me? No, you need to put him out there. You need to see what you get. And that coaching is terrible too, because again, Todd Gurley is being horribly underused. Horribly underused. This man he finally got 21 carries against the Jets last week. Before then, 12 carries, 14 carries, 15 carries. Come on, man. It's Todd Gurley. Give him the ball.
That is, though, on those 12 carries, on those 14 carries, on that 16 carries, dude's still almost getting 100 yards.
I mean, at least 4 yards a carry. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, if you this is your guy. You always say about every good running back, or a good running back needs about 20 to 25 carries. This man's not even getting. He's barely cracking 15. It's terrible.
Have you seen how much Jared Goff and Case Keenum look alike?
No, I haven't.
They look like identical. They look like twin brothers, dude. Both of them need to be slapped the crap out of them because they're both ugly, but they look just alike, dude. I mean, same hair and everything.
Patrick, what? Can you tell me what made you bring up a side-by-side picture of these two dudes? What?
No, honestly. But they look the same. It's like,
what? That's funny. I guess you was trying to look at a story and there was a side-by-side picture, apparently, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it showed it was there was something on here. It's like it says Golf replaces Keenum and it has a side-by-side picture of them. I'm like, huh, they look a lot alike.
Oh, God, Patrick, wow. That randomness.
I know, right? It looks like their mother has been around a couple of times. Anyway,
well, Patrick. All right, Patrick. Look, no, they got. We have that. Whatever, whoever's in there, whether they're twin brothers or not, it's a mess. It's a hot mess in LA, and this right here is why, to me, Jeff Fisher needs to be fired. He's got to go. I don't see why this man continues to have a job, and he has been a mediocre coach like his whole career, but yet he gets to keep a job. I don't understand. I don't get it. And the way he's running this team right now, man, I don't know, dude. To me, hot seat, hot, steaming.
I don't even think there should be a hot seat. The seat's so hot right now. He should be firing himself.
You know, ain't nobody gonna fire himself.
If my seat was on fire, I'm not sitting here. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go walk. I'm gonna go get me some water. I'm hot. Get me some water. This dude should already fired himself. He sucks. Hey, you know what? Philadelphia has a place for him. Philadelphia has tons of losers there. They'll be more than happy to take him.
The Eagles are fine. They got a first-year head coach. Look, Patrick, your hatred for Philadelphia, man, and sometimes it just goes too far. It's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of losers in Philadelphia. Just go there. Make yourself a name and you'll be
Eagles. Fine. You know what? Hey, you're talking mess about Philadelphia, but those losers did beat your Falcons this week.
That's the reason why I'm pissed.
So just the saltiness right there.
So all up in the camera right here.
All right, well, Patrick, we won't spend too much time on that game because we don't want you to be too salty there. What else?
Let's talk about that game. Let's talk about that game because I want to say I want to say one thing, and I'll be done with the game. What was Matt Ryan thinking? He did exactly
Patrick?
what we have been telling him. I complained about this all season last year. Stop throwing the Julio Jones double coverage. Stop throwing the Julio Jones triple coverage. Stop throwing the Julio Jones. Dude, he had Sanu 14 times wide open, and he still threw it to Julio Jones. What is his problem? Sucks.
Patrick?
Dude, 6-4. They should be
Patrick, oh, come on now, Patrick. So he has one bad game, and you're back on the Matt Ryan sucks bandwagon. Come on, Patrick. Come
on now. Matt Ryan sucks bandwagon. I am. That is not a bandwagon. I drive that thing.
Oh, okay, sorry. You drive that bandwagon. So, all right, my bad. Sorry.
He does good, but no, Matt Ryan sucks.
Patrick, I told you, Philadelphia does have a pretty good defense. Did he miss a couple of wide open receivers? Yeah, sure. But I told you, Philadelphia, they play well at home. And the defense puts a lot of pressure. He was under a lot of pressure in that game, too. Matt Ryan was running for his life out there. So, Patrick, you're salty. That's ridiculous. Because you were so you can give him credit. So you can give him credit.
Charles, listen, real quick. Panthers beat the Saints 23-20. All right, now go.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Thanks for the update. But you can give Matt Ryan credit for playing well, and then he has a bad game, subpar game, and now I'm done with Matt Ryan.
No, I'm not done with Matt.
How does that work, Patrick? You sound like a lot of bandwagon fans out there right now.
I'm not done with Matt Ryan. I got a lot more hateful things to say about him. I just go easy on him when he does well. He still sucks. Even when he was throwing all those, he still sucks. I was impressed because this is what frustrates me with Matt Ryan. How many years has he been in the league?
Yeah, a while. Since 2008.
Since 2008. We're looking at 8 years in the league. What has he really done with Atlanta? And in those 8 years, he's won one playoff game. Right? Now, let's fast forward to this season. I was impressed with the way he has been playing, mostly because he has been spreading the love. If you're throwing the four wide receivers, cool, but you need to keep doing that. If he can continue to do that, then I can slowly start coming off that bandwagon. But I said it when he did the fourth game of the season. I told you I was talking to you on the phone. I said, I'll give him credit. But I still feel he will do what he did last year. And now here we are, week 10, 9, 10, whatever it was, 8. And now he attempted to throw to Julio Jones 16, 17 times last week. Sanu was wide open on 5 of those throws. Why does he continuously think that Julio Jones they're only double covering him because they know that he's going to throw to him. And that's what frustrates me. So I think I'm just I'm a little irritated because he continues to do that. At this point in his career, he should know that he has got to play quarterback at a higher level than this, and he frustrates me with it. I don't hate him. I say a lot of things. I don't hate him. I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I say he sucks because he irritates the crap out of me because he doesn't do what. The reason why you're 6-3 is because you're doing your job. The reason why you're 6-4 is because you went a different route than doing your job. Just do your job. That's all I want him to do. Do your job, spread the ball around, and win some freaking games. This is not a complicated situation. You have so many weapons on that team, and you have proven it. Just do your job.
Yeah, but I mean, Patrick, I mean, the quarterback struggle. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, who you and I have said is the best quarterback in the league, he's struggling right now. So, I mean, I think if Matt Ryan, granted, he hasn't done the things in the postseason Aaron Rodgers has done, and I understand that, but I mean, quarterback struggle.
Well,
You
well,
have a
don't get
tough
me wrong.
game.
I'm irritated with Aaron Rodgers. I picked him to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm pissed off with him too. Don't get me wrong. I'm mad about both of them. But the thing is that Aaron Rodgers has been consistently showing good numbers, and that's the reason why I picked them to win the NFC. Am I irritated with Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. But see, the thing is that Matt Ryan has never showed these types of strides. Dude, now you show me you're capable of it, and then you turn around and do something like that? Come on, dude. Do your job.
But Patrick, now to be fair, Matt Ryan was a good quarterback in those first few years. The latest couple of years beforehand, yes, these are where you're seeing these regressions and him throwing into double coverage and making bad throws that he shouldn't make. To be fair, I mean, I don't think it had been, I don't think it's been that up and down. Do I think he's had his moments? Yes, because I've been one to say, man, this dude looks like he's regressing. Before we came into this year, said he was regressing, and then all of a sudden,
this year.
yeah, and then this year he's been playing good. I tend to think this was just one of those games because I remember you heard me on the webcast last week, man. I said this is going to be a tough game in Philadelphia because Philadelphia, their defense is better. Did Matt Ryan miss some things? Yeah, he missed some things, but what quarterback doesn't? So I know you are rougher and a little bit more harsher of a critic on your team's quarterback than mostly anybody else.
Yeah.
I
Don't get me wrong.
I just think
Overall, I think Matt Ryan, and I know we need to move on to NBA, but overall, I'll say this right here. Overall, Matt Ryan is doing a great job this year. I'm just a little frustrated with the game because you know how I feel. I don't want my team to lose, and if they're showing signs of doing that this well in an NFC South conference that apparently nobody wants to win, I mean, just go out there and do what got you to 6-3. That's all I'm asking. Just do that.
well,
So with that said, I mean, overall, I think Matt Ryan's doing well. I just wish he would have done it.
you just had to get that salt out. Well, Patrick,
Yeah.
before we move on to the NBA, what games are you looking forward to this week? Are there any that are catching your eye?
Nothing really.
Not
I
even the
mean,
Texans and Raiders on Monday night.
oh yeah, I was actually still
I
at
know you've been on the
Arizona,
Raiders. I know
Minnesota.
you've been on the Raiders.
Oh yeah, Raiders. I picked them to win their division, man, and they're riding hot right now and looking very well. That's going to be a good game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was looking over the games that we have, and I was going to say if you want to watch a battle of the absolute awful, nobody wants to win. Watch Arizona, Minnesota. But other than that, Houston and Oakland game. That's about the only game that I really see.
All right. Yeah, I think the Ravens and Cowboys can be interesting because Baltimore has a good defense. I'd like to see what type of pressure they can put on Dak Prescott. They're pretty good against the runs. To see if they can stop up Ezekiel Elliott,
I don't see
even
it.
though that offensive line is a beast. The offensive line's a beast for Dallas.
Yeah,
Um,
way too strong and way too big, and they've been pushing around everybody they've come in contact with. So, I mean, if you ask me to put a score on it, I got Dallas 34-20.
3 for 20. And we got there was one more game that I was looking at. Yeah, Arizona and Minnesota. I think the Packers and Redskins will be pretty interesting just to see how Green Bay responds because man, Green Bay been
They ain't
I
been
don't know.
responding to anything, so I'm not
So
even interested at all. I'm gonna have to hear on ESPN or Fox Sports One that they actually responded to something. Other than that, I ain't taking no emails.
not checking no emails, huh? So you're just giving up on your Super Bowl pick like that, huh?
No, I don't want to give up on them, but they need to give me a reason to watch them again. Crappy, but to me, it's just a lot of bad play calling. And Aaron Rodgers is not reading the defense the way he usually reads defenses. He's been calling a lot of bad audibles. No, I'm not giving up on him. I don't want to give up on him, but honestly, if I was to watch a game, if I'm going to watch a game, I'm not going to waste my time with Green Bay and Washington when I can watch Houston and Oakland.
Okay, Patrick, Houston and Oakland comes on a different night. So, what is your excuse?
Oh,
That is the Sunday night game. The
oh yeah.
Packers and Redskins.
I'll play video games.
So, what are you going to watch? Quantico or what are those?
I might watch Arrow, or I might get caught up on my Arrow episodes.
Okay. Let's move on to the NBA.
Okay.
So salty. This crazy. You're salty as hell. So
I've been salty on a lot of stuff, man. These players, man, dude. No, I don't want to talk about it. All these players are garbage to me right, these past couple of weeks.
Well, Patrick, real quick, let's talk a little NBA because we really haven't gotten the chance to talk about the NBA before since it started. So really, let's just talk about what you're looking at, what is catching your eye as far as because we talked about the Hawks earlier tonight. What is catching your eye about them? Of course, the Warriors have been the topic of discussion, and anything else that might be catching your eye. What are you seeing?
Same stuff I see every season. I'm impressed with the Hawks and the way they're playing right now. Told you this when we started talking about NBA a couple of months ago. I wasn't interested in. I wasn't impressed. Let's put it that way. I wasn't impressed with the Howard pickup. I didn't like the fact that they got rid of Teague and kept Schroeder. Still a little. I don't want to buy in just yet. Now, I'm a huge Hawks fan, of course. Everybody knows that. And I want to buy into this, but, they got a hot start. They finally beat Cleveland. I like to see what they do. I'm hoping, but it's hard to be an Atlanta fan because you just don't know what you're going to get with the Hawks. For the past so many years, they've had so many good teams, and they win the games that they shouldn't, and they lose the games that they shouldn't. So if you're going into Philadelphia and you're playing the 76ers, and this is a 2-10 team right now, I'm used to Atlanta going to Philadelphia and losing to Philadelphia, but then going to Cleveland and going to Golden State or San Antonio and beating them by 20, but then going to lose to Philadelphia by 20. To me, it's real hard to buy in on what Atlanta's doing. Now, I know that they got a great head coach. They got really good GMs and stuff like that, and it looks like they're starting to put stuff together. The biggest thing Atlanta's always needed, and I've been yelling this for, 10 seasons, they need a center. Then they go out and get Dwight Howard. Come on. I mean, give me a center, but Jesus, give me a good one. You know what I mean? But it kind of looks like he's buying in on the system, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not holding any high hopes yet, but we'll see.
the Dwight Howard thing, we've been highly critical of Dwight Howard, and for the fans out there, I have to replay this because we were talking so much mess about Dwight Howard, and then when I was in Germany, I said, Patrick, there's a chance they might get Dwight Howard, and you kind of blew me off, but kind of was like, man, I see that, whatever. And then
I was so mad. I didn't blow you off, but I was mad because when you said that, I went, oh no. And then I go in and look, and sure enough, they finalized it 10 seconds. Like after I looked, I was like, God. You sent me that like 2 hours before too.
Yeah. And
So depressed.
I said, Patrick, like Dwight Howard is coming to the Hawks. And it was just so funny, just replaying that whole situation because just thinking about how much mess we talked about him, and now he's a player on your favorite team. I'm just like, oh, I know Patrick. The first thing I thought was, man, I know Patrick is hot.
As soon as I read it, I was like, this is unbelievable. Couldn't go get somebody worth. I mean, come on, go get somebody worth. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not buying in on it yet. It's Dwight Howard. I'm waiting for his 24 baby mamas and his 50 kids to come out on the court and screw something up. So we'll see.
What's your thought on the Warriors?
Dude, from what I've seen, they play some good basketball, then they play some bad basketball. Kevin Durant coming to Golden State. Me personally, I don't think that this was a. I don't. I can see what they were trying to do. I don't think that was the move for them. There's too many people that want the ball, and honestly, I just don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough to spread for everything there, and I think it eventually is going to hurt them more than it's going to help them.
Golden State, they'll be, I mean, just because of the people they have on offense, they'll be explosive on offense. Where I think on offense, where I think they struggle is on defense.
Oh yeah.
Unless they can get some steals in the open court and be able to disrupt passing lanes, they're going to struggle big time because they have absolutely, positively no rim protection.
None.
Some of these games have been complete and utter layup lines.
Listen to these scores. They lost to the Spurs 129 to 100. Won to the Pelicans 122 to 114. 106 100. 127 104. 122 96. 116 106. 116 95. 125 104. 133 120. I mean, these are all in regulation time. 127 to 121 to the Raptors just like 2 nights ago, last night or whenever it was. Dude, they're going to win games just because of their sheer offense. But they're also going to lose games just because of their lack of defense. The game they lost to the Lakers, that was just, I mean, if your offense is not going to be clicking that night, and obviously it wasn't because they only scored 97 points, but if your offense is not clicking, we know that your defense is not going to be there because it's not showing up. It's never shown up. The teams are scoring 100 points. They're averaging 100 points on them a game.
Yeah, Steph Curry in that game, 0 of 10 from 3-point land, I think.
Yeah.
And then again, just like I said, look, you don't get better layup lines during practice. Yeah, I mean, you remember when you're standing in practice and you have one side practicing left-handed layups and then the other side practicing right-handed layups.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
it was just a layup and dunk drill in that LA game. And that's what I see a lot of. Yes, they're gonna score, they're gonna be potent, but a championship, I don't see that happening unless they shore up the inside. Not right now. It's early, and we'll see what materializes. But the defense will have to get better, and it might. I guess maybe if they play a little bit better, they got some rotations going. They know where each other's supposed to be. But I think rim protection is going to be huge. They have to get that. Because if they're expecting Draymond Green to be their rim protector, that's not going to work.
No.
So
exactly. I don't think it's going to work at all because instead of getting Kevin Durant, they should have went and got somebody big down in the middle for a center. But that was just my thought. But hey, I mean, your two highest leading scorers right now is Steph Curry and Kevin Durant with like 30 plus points a game. So maybe they win because it's your offense. I don't know. At this point, it's hard to tell, but I don't know. I mean, Clippers are doing better than they are right now. What does that tell you?
That's funny. Honestly, Patrick,
That'll work
I
itself
personally I don't think it's as much because it's the Clippers. The Clippers
out.
always start off hot.
They'll work themselves out. They always start hot. They'll be like 15-0, and then all of a sudden they're 15 and 70, 69, 15 and 69 because they went on a 68 game losing streak. And we're about Clippers.
Well, Patrick, that we'll wrap it up on that note. So, everybody, make sure you check us out. Post this bad boy on Facebook, Google Plus. I know it's been a little bit. We haven't been doing as many shows because life has hit us in the face. But check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Google Plus. Check us out on Twitter and LinkedIn. The webcast gets posted on all those fronts. Again, Patrick's Twitter handle is @thefreshness. So type it up. It will pop up. Trust me. It will, because I type up the THA and it pops up right away. So so you can find him, and I'm @Chuck T All Star. So go ahead, check us out, leave comments, let us know what you think about it. And until then, so Patrick, you're not. You said you're heading out, right? Thanksgiving break's coming up.
I will be out all next week. Heading to Georgia, spend some time with the family and stuff like that. So you have to get me back on the 28th that week.
All right. Well then, Patrick, hey man, you have a good trip. Take care, be safe, and enjoy the time with your family. For me, I should be back with the show Tuesday night, and then my family comes in. So uh, until next week, is that if I don't get to talk to you guys next week, then everybody have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. If I do, then I will be wishing you guys a happy Thanksgiving again. To Patrick, again, happy Thanksgiving to you. Enjoy the time with your family, and everybody else, enjoy the weekend and enjoy the sports that is out there. Take care.